So we're going to start off with a Psalms 100. Psalms 100. Make a joyful noise unto the Almighty, all ye lands. Serve the Almighty with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know ye that the Almighty, he is Yahweh. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people, and the sheep of his pasture. Posture. Oh, pasture. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving, and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him, and bless him. Bless his name. For the Almighty is good. His mercy is everlasting, and his truth endure to all generations. Endure.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Read the commandments.
We're going to read the commandments. And Yahweh spake all these words, saying, I am the Almighty, the Elohim, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other deities before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Almighty, the Elohim, am a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and shewing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Almighty, the Elohim, in vain, for the Almighty will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Almighty, the Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Almighty made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Almighty blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days can be long upon the land which the Almighty, the Elohim, giveth thee. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Good job, sir. Praise Yahweh. Good job. Welcome back to the second portion of today's Sabbath services here at the house of YAHuda. For those who may be tuning in for the first time, I'm Minister Michael. And just want to do a brief overview on some things. Our portion of classes are always welcome to questions and comments. I am a um, sometimes in my teaching, if this is your first time watching, sometimes in my teaching, I might throw a joke here and there just for, I like to laugh. I like to enjoy things. I'm not one that's real big on arguing and all that mess. But what I will do is say this, that if there are anything that if you have questions or you want to make comments, feel free. It's an open forum for that, respectfully though, respectfully. If you have questions for any of us that stand behind the podium, type them in, ask them. If there are certain questions you want one of the ministers to answer, just address it to that minister, and we'll take it from there. We want to have an open class. If you want to debate and fuss, YAH did give us 6 days. I'll be willing to come in and, hold Bible class, and we can discuss our differences that way, but not on the Sabbath day. As was mentioned, the Sabbath day is a holy day. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask. But if you have a spirit on you where you want to argue, save that for sometime during the week. I'll open up and I'll have Bible study, and you still might not get an argument from me then, but at least we'll hold the Sabbath day sacred as we're supposed to. Opening up to turn to the book of, my man mentioned this earlier today. Turn to the book of Proverbs. And I have a question that I want us to think about. Now, in this question that I'm going to ask is to spark just conversation. That's all. That's all. That's all. Proverbs 18 is what you were speaking on earlier. So Proverbs 18 and 16. In the book of Proverbs 18 and verse 16, it says, a man's gift maketh room. Maketh room. A man's gift maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men. You had mentioned that, but what does that mean to any one of us in here? What does that mean to you? A man's gift maketh room. Is that monetary? Is that spiritual? What is it? Yes, sir.
My understanding. So make a gift, then we'll make gift for Yahweh, and the gift also can make room for improvements on anything else, like mental or spirituality. I guess eating right. And also lead the other children.
Very good. So the gift doesn't have to be monetary necessarily, and it can be in the form of good health, clean consciousness. Go ahead.
Also, it can help. Sometimes our gift can help us strengthen our faith with the Most High. Our what's that word I'm thinking of? Our relationship with the Most High. It can bring us closer.
Very good. Very good. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
I can sum it up in one word: enlightenment. Information, wisdom, knowledge, bring people to help bring about a better understanding.
Enlightenment. Yes, ma'am.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yahweh made room for my gifts my whole life. I'm very fond of his creation. So everywhere I go, I get to praise Yahweh for his creation because I see it everywhere I go. I feel like he's made room for that for me. So if I'm in the city, best believe I'm going to find something that Yahweh created in that city. If it's a plant growing out of a crack in the sidewalk, I'm going to see it. Because it's the gift Yahweh gave me. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. It says, a man's gift maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men. Now, when this was spoken by Solomon, great men, what is that? Who would that be? What if these men, is this talking about, when it says great men, is this talking about just those that serve Yahweh? Or is it talking in general? Dealing with stature? Yes, sir.
Well, it can be both. We can still learn from people who don't know Yahweh.
But this verse isn't talking about learning from them. It's talking about being before them. Read that verse again. It says, a man's gift maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men. There's a scriptures where Yahweh says that when your ways please him, he'll even make your enemies to be at peace with you. See, all the answers that was given to that particular verse was absolutely on the money. Your gift. What this is talking about is what was just spoken by you three. See, there's a purpose for everybody on this planet. There's a purpose. Your gift is what Yahweh gives you, and it's something that you're confident in. Earlier you were asked, well, not just you, it ain't just you. It's many people feel like, well, what do I do? What can I do? I don't really have a gift. Sometimes that gift let's come back to this verse. Let's come back to this verse later. I think I want to end down on this, Yahweh, on this verse. But here's my question. You only have two choices presented to you. And they say, son or daughter, you can only have one or the other. I'm going to ask this question that I'm going to, well, I'm not going to ask that question first. Let's go into, does anyone want to give a testimony? Anybody want to testify to something today? Yes, ma'am.
Shalom.
Shalom.
I just want to testify about how great and awesome the Almighty is. In my good, in my bad, He remains the same. And I know that I can take comfort in Him. And that's something that I cherish, taking comfort in the Almighty. Praise be to God.
Hallelujah. Praise
Hallelujah.
Yahweh. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
Hallelujah.
No, it's awesome. It's wonderful. Leaves a lovely taste in my mouth. I appreciate it so much. Great. Hallelujah.
Praise Yah. Yes, sir.
I want to thank the Almighty for the word that I just used, enlightenment, because when we pay attention, we can always be enlightened on something, whether it be from this perspective or that perspective. Knowledge is tremendous valuable. Right? Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh.
For blessing me with a discount on a fruit bar.
Hey, a blessing is a blessing.
I know, right?
Shoot, a blessing is a blessing. Especially with the way stuff is going now.
What you was eating earlier?
Oh no.
Oh, I was about to say.
No,
Yeah, a blessing is a blessing.
no, they same kind, but they
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, blessing is a blessing. Praise Yahweh.
Good for you, sir.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, Yahweh is a phenomenal. You know, I thank Yahweh, and I'm gonna share something because I don't always put my trust in Him like I should. I know it's hard to imagine how in the hell you a minister, you don't put your trust in the Father. That's right. Because I'm a human being. And that makes me imperfect. But does that mean I rest in that? No, it doesn't. See, sometimes the reason we struggle with trusting in the Almighty is because He don't move how we think He should move. We want Him to move immediately. But Yahweh moves on time. Did you hear me? We want Yahweh to move immediately, but Yahweh moves on time. To have belief in Yahweh, total confidence in the Almighty, literally takes you shutting up and being still. Get out your own way and let Yahweh pass by. As was said earlier about cleanliness, a lot of us do carry a lot of baggage, a lot of unnecessary trash. And you won't know total peace until you begin to unload some of that garbage. Clean your house. Treat everything that you have as though the Almighty is coming to visit and gonna sit with you. Clean your physical house and your spiritual house. You know, I was thinking about something. You know, it's funny when we have visitors coming over and your house is nasty. How many of us in here would leave it nasty even though we got guests coming over? As much as the black man and black woman love Barack Obama said he was coming to your house. Most of us will go broke trying to rent furniture, and we going up in the shafters, and we going up into the into the corners of the house, there's dust, and you know what I'm saying? We getting under sinks and we washing the laundry and folding, and we might throw the towels away that might be a little ragged, and we buy new towels. You understand? We even though Barack Obama ain't even gonna be in our bedroom, we go buy new sheets, and we go and we clean the kitchen, and we tell the children, go take baths, go take a shower, go take a bath, go get in that tub, and we go out and we put the best of the best on to impress someone who's gonna die just like me. But how were we living before the invitation of Barack Obama coming over? How were we living then? We didn't care about them ragged towels. We didn't even make the bed. We didn't care about taking showers. We took baths in the sink. You know, them whole baths, them ones, taking the sink. That's what we did. And then we go about our day like I'm good. See, the energy that we put in man is one of the reasons why we're so destroyed right now. Why is it that when a question is asked, could you imagine how it would be to be in a place serving Yahweh and being in a place of worship was not an example? Like, can't say, go to the house of Israel, they'll show you how to serve Yahweh. The unfortunate thing is because we all don't believe in Yahweh the way that we truly should believe in him. But I thank Yahweh for his mercy, his compassion. I thank him for providing for me and my family. Yah is righteous. Yah is righteous. Yes, ma'am.
I have a comment from Yahweh Israel. All praises for our YAH, Shabbat Shalom family. Heart, praise hands, heart, praise hands, heart, praise hands.
Praise Yahweh. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Today, Yahweh, I'm going to answer some questions. One was, can we eat geese or ducks? Can that be part of our dietary, part of our diet? So I'm going to go over the dietary laws, y'all willing. But I have a question that I want to ask. And then there's something that I want to read too. There's something I want to share this thought. So what I want to do is, let me ask this question. You're given two choices. The Almighty sends one of his malaks down, one of his angels, and say, I want you to ask Elijah. I want you to ask Brother Michael's beautiful wife, Sydney. I want you to ask Mora Yemuel's beautiful wife, Dawn, or ask Elder Yemuel. I want you to ask them this question. And this is what I want you to ask them. Just as you gave David 3 choices when he numbered Israel, I'm only going to have you give them 2. You tell them or you ask them, brothers, sisters, you only have 2 choices. Which one would you choose? Would you rather have knowledge or would you rather have discipline? There is no in between. There is no, what do you mean? The angel was very direct and said, this is what I'm offering you. This is what the Almighty said. I'm giving you knowledge or I'm going to give you discipline. That is what you have. Those are your choices. There's no in between. There's no climbing under the fence. These are your choices that are before you. Son, daughter, what do you choose? Yes, sir.
Discipline. Why? Because you got knowledge, but what's your knowledge on? Because, okay, say if you got knowledge on keeping the law, you can't keep the law because you're not disciplined. You get what I'm saying? So if you discipline, you can keep the law, and you can. I guess you have to do it the hard way. You have to just research it and do that. But at least you'll be disciplined to do it. You know. So I would say discipline.
Come here, man. Come up here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. It's my adoptive nephew, little big head. I love this boy. Good answer. Go sit down. Yes, sir.
I have to say, he just surprised me. My same answer is discipline. See, we already have the knowledge of what the Almighty wants us to do, but we're so rebellious and we don't have discipline. Discipline will take you a lot farther. Discipline, if you're disciplined, you're going to do what you need to do, which is going to put you ahead. I'm so happy and pleased that this young man just took that and just hit a home run with it as far as I'm concerned. So I would definitely say discipline myself.
Praise Yahweh. Yes, ma'am.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I say knowledge. Because I can learn about discipline. I can learn about the different disciplines.
Very good.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Anyone else?
Discipline.
Why would you choose discipline?
Just to keep myself disciplined to learn about different things and stay in.
Very good. Which one would Minister Michael choose? None of your business. None of your business. Maybe I share it, maybe. But I asked that question because it was a thought that I had this week. If you had a choice of choosing between knowledge or discipline, which one would you choose? Well, I'll share it. I would choose discipline. Why would you choose discipline, brother, over knowledge? Because for me, knowledge serves me no purpose if I'm not disciplined enough to execute what I'm learning. I know how to cook, but if I'm not disciplined enough to get up, put things together to formulate a meal, then me knowing what to cook or how to cook is all for naught. Discipline for me is very important. Very important. Now, that does not mean that there was any right or wrong. Everyone has their view, and I respect everyone's view. If you chose knowledge, it was knowledge. But if you chose discipline, it was discipline. That's how I wanted to approach that question. And we all shared. We got it going. Any other comments on that? Any other questions or anything like that? Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How Warren says, Shalom, praise Yah, our dog lawful. Norman Patterson says, Shabbat Shalom, family. Dave L says, wonderful question. It takes a wise soul to understand the depth of it.
Praise Yahweh. Now, I'm sorry. What was that question? Is
Are
what
dogs lawful?
Are dogs lawful?
Yes.
All right. So let me write that down. Are dogs lawful? That's a good question. Let's ask. Let me do that. Are dogs lawful? All right. So I'm gonna answer that question. Very good, very, very good. And let me say this too. If I've asked questions and not giving you a chance to explain, or if I've asked questions, if you were offended, I apologize. But however, what I want you to know is, if I disagree with you, don't mean that you're wrong. Did y'all know that? I think I'm gonna put a big board up here that says, just because I see it different does not mean you're wrong. It just means I have a different point of view, a different perspective. That's what I have. You might like that brand that you have on your shirt. I might hate it. Are you going to stop wearing the brand that you like because I hate it? No, that wouldn't be wise. Don't make me into no Elohim. Don't make me nothing over the Almighty. You understand? Some people like peanut butter. Some people hate peanut butter. I love peanut butter, almond butter, vegan butter, butter. That's my thing. Butter, vegan butter. I don't do regular butter anymore. I can attribute that to what I learned early on from Minister Yoel when he taught on dairy and stuff. I haven't had dairy in a long time. It's been some years, maybe. But I do. But just because you might not like peanut butter cookies don't mean I need to hate peanut butter cookies. I love peanut butter cookies. All right? You can kick rocks if you want me to stop liking because you don't like it. Get to your life. You understand? It's got to be peanut butter. Oh. All right. Now, I want to share a story with you. Then I'm going to read a scripture with that story. All right. There was a man. I shared it with my wife, I think. If I did. There was a man and a lion. The man and the lion were debating. The man said, I'm the strongest. The lion says, no, I'm the strongest. The man says, no, I am the king. I am the strongest. The lion says, no, I am the king. I am the king of the jungle. The man says, well, I'm the king of the world. So the man and this lion, they go back and forth. They still debating with each other. And they're arguing until they come upon this painting of a man spearing and defeating a lion. The man goes, aha! As you can see, I am the strongest. And the lion looks at the man and says, well, who created the painting? The lion says, who created the painting? A lot of people looked as perplexed. Like, what's the point, brother? Well, the point of the matter is it's perspective. The victor always gets an opportunity to create history. That's why it's his story. That's right. Africa. Africa wasn't always called Africa. Africa was the land of Cush. Africa didn't have all those divisions. Middle East, or Iran, Iraq. These are new nations. They didn't have all these separations. It was one landmass. But when the Roman, I want to say he was an emperor, Africanus. And a lot of times when you conquer something, you get to name it. Well, Africanus named that continent, that landmass, after himself. Hence, you get the name Africa. Perspective. Turn to the book of Job, chapter 9. Aha. Job chapter 9. In the book of Job chapter 9, I'm going to read the 24th verse. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. This is Job speaking. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Says the earth in the first sentence is given into the hand of the wicked. Why is the earth given into the hand of the wicked? Because those that was meant to have it didn't want it, obviously. See, the reason Israel is in the state, one of the reasons that Israel is in the state that we're in is because we willingly gave up our blessing. Because we didn't want total rulership. It seems like Israel always had a mindset of being oppressed. We love oppression, so we can complain about it. That's Israel. Brother, how in the heck do you know that that be true? Well, let me break it down. Take an ordinary, it don't even gotta be, well, I'm gonna say, because I know black, because I've been black all my life. Take an ordinary black person who lived in pea-infested hallways, dilapidated neighborhoods. Take that same person and put them in a neighborhood where there are trees, the grass is green, everyone has a garden, lawns are mowed, they're manicured, where trash is illegal. You take and put that individual in that neighborhood. Give it a year. They'll find a way to tear it up. They'll go start cutting down trees. You'll see them throwing trash on the ground. And it's not because they're nasty. It's because they are adapting or trying to make an environment adapting to what they're used to. Am I making sense? Am I making sense? See, here's the thing. There's a term, there's a saying that you can take an inn out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of that inn. And the thing is that, and then you take someone who lived in a predominantly affluent neighborhood. Let's say they lost their job. You take them and put them in a hood, you will start noticing that their porch is neat. They keep their lawn together. The lawn might be this big, but they out there mowing it. They keep their home clean. See, when we gave up our strength, our power to be like other nations, what ended up happening is we lost the zest to be any more than a nigga. Excuse my language, but that's what we lost. And I know some of Israel out there is sensitive about teachers using the N-word. Well, I'm using it for sake of education, for sake of bringing a point home. How about you be sensitive about not keeping the Sabbath holy? How about that? So if you're going to write something up on Facebook or put something out there like teachers using the N-word, that's wicked. You know what else is wicked? Not keeping the Sabbath holy. How about that? But let me say that this man has been able to rewrite his story. And whenever your enemy rewrites his story, he's always going to put himself up here. And who he conquered, he puts down here. Let me explain something to the world. The Jewish man is not the children of Israel. The Jewish man, the descendants are descendants of Europeans. They're not descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and or Jacob. They are descendants of people like Antiochus, Alexander the Great. Those are their descendants. That's who their descendants from. We, the black man and black woman, the black man and black woman, the beautiful black man and black woman, we are the ones. And let me say this. When you look in the mirror, you should never see nothing but beauty. Look past what you would consider your physical infirmities. Look past that. Look past your big nose. Your big nose is natural. That's part of your life. That's part of your culture. That's who you are. As Elder Yemi Wells spoke on, that's who we are. It's part of your culture. Don't shave off the hair on your face as young men. That's part of us. If you took a lion, shaved him down, and put him next to a lioness, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference outside of the fact of body mass. And what? And right. Yahweh created us to be a beautiful people, but because the world has been handed over to the hands of the wicked ain't gonna tell you how beautiful you are, because their wicked's job is to do what? Is to be oppressive. It's to keep you down. It's to keep you low. It's not meant for them to lift you up unless Yahweh moves them to do so. See, I think we've missed the whole point of why we're in captivity. And let me tell the people this. Those that may be listening, you're not going home until Yahweh sees fit. I don't care if it's been 400 years, 401 years, 420 years. When Yahweh sees fit for you to go home, then you go home. If you go home. See, let's give a little bit of history behind that. You know that in the scriptures, it talks about Gog and Magog. I looked up them ancient names, and those ancient names are Russia and China. We're going to have to fight these nations. When we leave these coasts of captivity, it's not like we're going to leave from here. It ain't like we leaving from Avondale and then we're going to Jerusalem. No, it ain't going to work that way. We're going to go through another wilderness. There are going to be nations that we're going to have to fight before we get home. And not everybody is going home. You got some that are going to die here, and you got some, well, they're going to die here. And you got some that's going to want to stay. Could you be so you will be surprised. Police brutality, the injustice toward blacks, and you would think like, man, as soon as you get an opportunity to go home, to leave, to go back to where your ancestors came from, you would jump on that, but not a lot of us. We so desensitized to trinkets. That's what keeps us here, trinkets. I got a 80-inch screen TV. How the hell I'm gonna get that on the boat? Where you going? You ain't gonna need it, brother, sister. What, my Jordans? What? I just got these. I just ordered these. Are you crazy? I went into kicks.com. It took me 5 months to get these. Yahweh, why didn't you take me before then? You understand? Yahweh, you know, my job just gave me a raise. Really? You gonna send me home now? Now that I can afford this $300,000 home or $500,000 home or $1 million home now? Yahweh, I made it. I'm in a neighborhood with white folks. You really gonna take me away from this? White folks bring me casseroles and muffins to welcome me to the neighborhood. They don't call me the N-word. You understand? I go jogging down the street. They don't lock their doors. They come and join me. Hey, Rakim, how are you? Really? And then most of us got that mindset, I don't want to stay. And we're talking about strong Israel. Umakama Israel. The one that threw life while they were broke. I hate the white man. As soon as they get a little money, well, he's not really all that bad. He's not bad to live with. I got white neighbors, maybe fringes. Like, our whole vibe will change. Those that are blessed to go home, best believe those were the elite. Those were the ones that through and through stood by Yahweh. Not a lot of us can say that we truly, well, I say for myself, I can't say that I've truly stood with Yahweh like I should have. And that's shameful. But that's why we're down here and they're up here, because the world is in their hands. And you know what? We gave it to them. Police brutality, that's our fault. Racism, that's our fault. Discrimination, that's our fault. What you talking about, Brother Michael? I didn't wake up and say be racist toward me. No, but our actions showed that we didn't want anything better. It shows it today. A black man can get shot right now in the streets by the police. We'll go marching, but it won't stop a group of other blacks to go and shoot another black. I can walk through your neighborhood. You will be quick to be like, hey, you on the wrong spot, homie. Wait, you don't belong on this side, homie. Hey, and you'll come chase me and beat me down. But a 4-foot white police officer can walk in your neighborhood and you scatter like cockroaches with your cell phones out. But your own brother walked down the same block and you want to murder him because he lives on Paddock and he walking up on California Avenue here in Cincinnati. So because I take up one part of the street, I can't walk down this part of the street. Let me explain to you, and y'all can share the message, those that may be listening, tell them, don't nothing out here belong to us. There is no block that's mine. Nothing. I could buy a home on this land and they can just say eminent domain, come in, boom, and take my home. I can be like, but I got the deed. I'm the owner of the house, but your house is on American soil. You don't own America. Hell, we don't really own America. We just was real slick. You understand? Yes, sir.
Matter of fact, white people and black people don't own America. It was the natives, right? The Native Americans, what they call them, igneous people, indigenous or something.
Indigenous, or they're indigenous. Is not a people. It was the Indians. Indigenous just means they're part. They were brought up with that land. They're part of that land. Well, yeah, I get what you're saying. Forgive me for interrupting.
Native Americans.
You're right, brother.
And weren't there like black Native Americans? Like
Can you say Capipo?
Yeah. Black, yes.
Black Native.
Blacks are the majority. Black and brown people, they say we're the majority. The minority is the white folks. Life started through us. And when you're talking to somebody, have confidence. Life started through me. Life started through me. Let me tell you something. There was a little boy, maybe about 6, 7. And he was out, it's about maybe around the 40s, 50s, 60s, maybe. And he was peeing in public. Police officer shot him. Wow. When I asked why did you shoot him, he said he had a weapon. He did have a weapon. He did have a weapon. The most dangerous weapon that this man is afraid of is your reproductive system as a black man. Because now you can produce more soldiers. Now you can produce more leaders. Now you can produce more queens. There's a movie my wife and I want to go see. It's called the Woman King. It's about this, and if I'm not mistaken, there were women soldiers. Why men be thinking like only men could be soldiers? Let me tell you something. There were women soldiers. It was a tribe of them who fought against the French. Women. Even to this, I'm gonna tell you, when I saw some of the pictures that were taken of these women, these ain't women that I'm gonna say this. We as American men now are weak. We couldn't handle the women of then. When I look at these warrior women, it wasn't about you coming up there like, I'm a man. You feel me? I'm a man. They'd be like, what is that? Your head rolling. These were women who stood and fought with the men soldiers and were just as valiant. You know why the women soldiers were just as valiant? I'm gonna throw my predict why I'm saying this. Because women come from us. You sisters come from us. A woman comes from you, come from man. Say, how's that possible? Because it took a rib from a man to give to a woman to formulate who we call today our woman. And we treat our woman like crap. We lie to them, we pimp them out. That's what we do. But because of the perspective that's given by those who is over us, they teach you, you ain't nothing, young man. You ain't nothing, young lady. You ain't nothing. You ain't nothing. You ain't nothing. The only thing you're going to be good for is have a pole between your legs and be on your back. Son, the only thing you good for is when I need you to commit a crime and work in factories. And no, you can't be a doctor. They told that to Malcolm X. No, you can't be. Malcolm X wanted to be a doctor. No, you can't be no doctor. Be a carpenter. Do something with your hands. Do you think all Israel had were farmers? Israel had physicians, herbalists who were herbalists, well-respected councilmen, leaders. That's what we come from. But because the world is given over into the hands of the wicked, you don't learn about that stuff until you pick up a book. And how many of us are really going to pick up a book and read about how great we truly are? Wisdom, you are a phenomenal artist. Do you know that you come from a long line of phenomenal artists that flow through the seed of your Abba, through the womb of your Ima? That's where you come from. Son, you are, from what I'm understanding, a phenomenal athlete. Seed, womb of your parents. We come from greatness. We don't come from niggas. We don't come from bad BITCHs. We come from kings. We come from queens. We come from We come from great diplomats and great warriors. You understand? Now, we had court jesters and fools amongst us. I mean, that's just, you know, we can tell who the fools are. It's just embedded in us, in some of us. But we came from greatness. And like I said before, this man didn't go over to the lands that our ancestors inhabited to bring over laziness. If that was the case, they'd have just dealt their own people. Were there any comments or questions on that? Yes, ma'am. Hallelujah.
As you were speaking, I was thinking about something.
Mm-hmm.
If the color of our skin was representative of the soil from which life comes, have you ever seen white soil?
Not at all. Not at all.
Sand. But you can't grow anything in sand.
No, you can't. No, you can't. Hallelujah. You absolutely right.
Oh,
Dark. Dark soil. That is where we come from. Dark, rich. The same. I love Minister Elder Elisha. Nutriments. The same nutrients. No, the same nutrients that are in the dirt. The rich, dark soil are the same nutrients that are in man. Man comes from the dirt, whether you white or black. Let me tell you what would scare the hell out of me. To wake up a white man, that would scare the hell out of me. To wake up as Zuckerberg, that would scare the heck out of me. But for me to wake up as Shaka Zulu, a warrior man who fears Yahweh, oh yes, that's what I'm talking about. When I want to wake up as Dexter, I want to wake up as Fuka. You understand? Go ahead, sis.
I have a comment from Dave L. Because men can have multiple wives, some, all cats, feel as if they can slang it anywhere without any consequences.
Who said that?
Dave L.
Dave L. Praise Yahweh. You're absolutely right. Slang it with no conscience. Just sit it on the table. That's what most men think. And with that mindset, it causes us to have, and I want to talk about having a healthy and an unhealthy masculinity. But having the way that we carry ourselves is because of how man has because we turned away from our Father, the ones that oppress us are the same ones who educate us. We come from great mathematicians. Maybe dyslexia is prevalent in our communities more because when we read, we didn't read from left to right. We read from right to left. That's why when you read ancient Hebrew, when you get say if you got a Torah in ancient Hebrew, it starts from here because this is how we're used to reading. We read from right to left, not from left to right. But all that changed once we lost our culture, once we lost who we are. We're not Christians. We're not Christians. I can tell you that. We're not even Muslims. We're many things. But being a Christian is not one of them. Christianity wasn't given to us to instill hope in us. Christianity was given to us to make us subservient to our masters. Yes, ma'am.
Hallelujah. Just made me think about something.
Mm-hmm.
Now that work day before yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
This man came in. He was asking for the specific pant that he had found at Macy's.
Mm-hmm.
So they have things that our store doesn't have. So he went on to describe it. And then he said he found it in the store. And I said, you don't say. And then it occurred to me why I didn't pay any attention. I said, well, this isn't something that I could buy for my husband, so I don't pay it any attention because it's made. And he asked me about that. I said, well, it's in the commandments. We can't wear mingled clothes. And he said, what religion are you? I said, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. He said, what is that? I said, well, and then he said he was Jewish. I said, well, it predates Judaism.
Mhm.
I said, huh. And he kept thinking about it. He was like, is that a Christian? I said, no, it's not Christian. It says Rasta. I said, no, not a Rasta. And he said, that's a type of Christianity. I said, well, depending on the sect, yeah, it is.
Mhm.
Coptic Christians. And he kept asking me about it. And I just said, yeah, it predates Judaism. And he seemed not insulted, but slightly disturbed about it. Like, what comes before the religion that I serve? And I was telling my husband about it. He said, well, you should have said such and such and such. I said, because now we live in such a society where anything that you say can be taken offensively, and there will be horrible backlash behind it. But I said just enough. Yeah, I feel like Yahweh gave me just enough to tell him to where he could do his own research and come to his own understanding about it, and realize and understand that that's a nationality of people who serve Elohim, who came from a specific ancestry, whereas religion, that's stuff that's put together by man. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. This is what happened. He got back to the car. He sat down. If he had somebody with him, he looked at him and said, no. honey, Goldberg. What do you mean they know? They know, honey. They
His
know.
last name was Goldberg.
They know. They're like, what do you mean they know? Who knew, honey? What? They know. What did they know? I spoke to one. One who? One who knows who they are. They both sat back in their car like, they do know.
Wait.
They know.
I was telling him about that dude now, so I was at work, asking about. I was talking, I gave a testimony about that Jewish man that I met at work who asked me about being Hebrew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, son. They know. And she had on fringes.
You ever thought about, like, have you seen, like, you might see this on TV or you might see this in real life. You know how, like, white Europeans did all that wicked stuff to us. Now, they try to seem like we're the bad guys. Like, oh, what you're saying is racist to us, but they're calling us the N-word for, like, how many years? You seen people like
Yeah.
try to put it on us, like,
And they say, oh, you guys are actually racist. You love you, so me and me is racist. And then that goes back to that Job 9 and 16, where it says, not 16, but Job 9 and 24, where it says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Because the earth is given over into the hands of the wicked, of course, they have the power and the fortitude, in a sense, to make you think. Like, for example, when I worked at a summer program, I would say something, one of the young men, I think we had it was predominantly black, but it was like one white family, I think it was. And one of the young men said, hey man, that white girl over there, us, oh, that's racist. No, that's stating the fact. That's not being racist. Now, if he said, look at that cracker, and do you know where the term cracker came from? The term cracker came from, that's what they heard when you got whipped. So whenever the overseer would come over with they'd be like, come to cracker. So cracker, that's where that term came from. They come from them eating saltines, and they had nothing to do with their color. It was the fact of what their origin of weaponry they used to make us even more subservient to them. And see, that's the thing. See, when this man rewrote history, he rewrote history to make you think that Europeans were more civilized than we. But when you do your research, there's nothing. Check history. Read history. Get into it. The most violent, the most bloody, one of the most violent wars was the Christian Crusades. where these group of soldiers, these group of so-called Christians, went around forcing people to become Christians.
Torturing anybody who decided they would.
Exactly. Just like over in Africa, where the Muslims were going around beheading Christians, and they looked at them as animals. But your whole belief system was nothing but violence. This white man, and I'm saying white man, I ain't saying nothing else. I'm stating the color. This white man and this white woman, their whole history is violence. Their whole history is violence. If I want your land, I'm not gonna come over there and delegate and say, hey, let me take. No, I'm coming in with my army and I'm taking your land. I'm not even gonna talk to you. I'm just letting you know, hey, I like your land. I'm coming to get it. Everything just about that this man has gotten is through blood. If this man was to, if you could take and see through this man's just with spiritual perceptibility, you look at this man, he's drenched in blood. Him and his descendants are drenched in blood because that's what they shed. That's what they shedded when they came in and they wanted something. They did it to the Indians. They did it. Let me tell you something. The pilgrims wanting these happy-go-lucky, happy Thanksgiving. That wasn't them. These were vagabonds. These were criminals that were brought, that England didn't want. They were refused. You understand? You know what I'm saying? They were the torn shirt in the closet. They were the messed up shoes at the bottom of the closet. That's what they were. You know, I don't want this anymore. Get rid of them. Get them out of here. So they brought them over here. Then America was established by the hands of crooks, rapists, just wicked men, wicked women. And you can say, well, why you say wicked men and women? Because you part of that tribe. You know what was going on. You know what was happening. You might not have committed the murders, but you damn sure didn't stop them. And you damn sure didn't say, hey, honey, you shouldn't do that to them. Because the few that might have did don't cover for the many that did do. You understand what I'm saying? So in other words, not only was history written by the hands of our enemy, it was rewritten by the hands of murderers. You understand? Idolaters. Elder, then I'm coming to you, sis. Yes.
Based on some and more knowledge of what you just stated, it's impossible for a black man or woman in this country to be racist. Why? Because we don't hold any power. It's those that hold the power who make all the legislation and the rules and the governing things. Those are the ones with power. Mm-hmm. So it's impossible for us to be racist because all of the how can I put it? All of the discrimination, if you will, if you want to just minimize the discrimination, come from those who write the laws and the judges and all those different things. So it's impossible. So when somebody tells a black individual in this country, oh, you're just racist, lay that on them because it's absolutely impossible. We hold no power. And even if they say, well, you guys had a black president, he just delegates. The matter of fact, he don't even really do that much, actually, because you have every state who's going to do their own thing, and they're the one who write the policies and everything else that we're governed by.
Yep. And Barack Obama, let me slow out there, was not a president for the black man and black woman. We made him that. His job, he did not say, I'm going into presidency to help my people. He wouldn't have made it. He wouldn't have made it to the ballot with that way of thinking. Now, because during his presidency is when the heightened rate of police brutality and everything was happening to us. And he could have easily stepped in and said, hey, stop it, or hey, I'm going to take away pensions. But of course, the president is nothing but a glorified, just like I mean, Queen Elizabeth got more power or more prestige than a president of the United States. He's just the commander in chief of the military. That's it. and he's given a few little things here and there. Basically, as I look at it, it's mostly ceremonial. I mean, they do things, but they don't hold a lot of power. It's the House and the Senate and all that run this country. The president is just the face of the country, but the behind the scenes is the ones that's running things, Illuminati, that's running things of that nature. You understand? The people who, you know, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Hallelujah. You were talking about the people who came over here. How diabolical of a person you have to be to put a disease in a blanket and give it to somebody as a gift.
That's right. That's right. And we skip over that. Can't wait for things. We want to be. Look at the little pilgrims. Do you know the pilgrims were murderers?
They was hungry and they took their food.
And they
were grateful for it.
And then the Indians taught them how to plant, how to fish, how to do it. Just like
shared their knowledge with them.
Exactly. Exactly. And that just goes to show how we are so trusting of a pale face. And the thing that's so deep is think about it. Check this out. In Europe, early Europe, during the time of the Moors, you know, it was the Moors that taught them how to bathe, how to irrigate hot water. It was the Moors. Moor meant black. You had Christian Moors and you had Muslim Moors. Moors were what you would call nomads. They didn't have a land. They were just travelers. So they went over there and they taught the royalty, so-called royalty over there. They taught them how to take and create these irrigation systems so that they can have water in their homes. And they gave them how to get hot water. Prior to that, these kings and queens, most of them were living in barns with the cows, with the animals. You understand? And even during that time, during the times of the early 15th century, during the time of King Arthur, not King Arthur, but during the time of I want to say the 15th century, when they really started creating perfumes and perfumes and powders. They didn't create them because they wanted to smell good, just to smell good. No, they created them because they didn't bathe but once a month. And that's a state. That's a truth. If that. We thinking these Europeans were just these so-called, just so civilized. No, they were beasts. They were beasts. They lived beastly, bathing only once in a while. And then we're talking about royalty. Go ahead, son.
Well, I know that so besides we know it's white man the head. So basically about almost our Native Americans in the same boat as we, right?
I would say so, but they're not as bad off as us. They're not in the same boat as us. They were done wrong, but they're not in the same boat as us. The American Indian still holds on to their culture. We totally are stripped of our culture.
They probably know more about our culture than we do.
Real talk. That's the truth. And the thing that's so messed up is, and it's all relating back to how the world is into the hand of this wicked man and how his perspective is put on everything. Because I'm gonna tell you, I think about it like, really, is this white man really our enemy? Because everything that's happening to us is because of us. Like, do you get mad at the belt because you were wrong and needed a whooping? Do you get mad at the belt? You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's all this man is.
So we are enemy.
We're our own enemy, yes. Yes. Think about it. We still, if you think about it, in predominantly black neighborhoods, I understand circumstances and being put in projects because, you know, projects were started during the time of the Holocaust. That's when projects were created. During that time, what ended up happening was Hitler created these areas that they just wanted the Jews to live in. They were considered projects. They were projects. And then it was turned into what they do that basically projects also could also go along with experiments. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put majority, because most of the ones that inhabited most of the projects were the ones who were lower income. And those are where you throw them in little houses or little ghettos or whatever the case may be. And they were separated, just like in the caste system. The caste system was said to have been started in India. And what the caste system is if you're born poor, you die poor. And if you're born rich, you die rich. So in other words, if you're a poor person and you come into wealth, you still had the caste system is designed to keep you still being poor. How do you know that? Well, you can kind of see how it sort of still applies today. Look at us in the ghetto. We walking around driving $300,000 cars, and we live on the poorest side of the street. Then we wonder why the police always pulling us over. You know, you got a 2023 Lexus, son, and you parked in front of a Section 8 house. Help me to understand the correlation. You understand? We walk around with the big chains on, like you said earlier, like the gold chains. You know what I'm saying? We walk around with the gold in our teeth. We sort of, we really put being ghetto, being poor, being everything that this man said we are, we make it our day-to-day walk. So bad that once you meet someone with a little bit of consciousness, they're lame. They're lame. Look at what this man's doing with sexuality. There's only two sexes, male and female. Now you got 70. Now you got all these other sexes. You understand? When you were born on this earth, you were taught you're going to be a boy because you got the appendages and you got this as a boy and you're going to be a girl. Now, you can go to school and be like, well, today I want to be a female. Well, today I'm a girl. There was a young lady that used to, when I was at school, there was a young lady when we did checks. One day she would come in the side where the girls come in, and then one day she would decide to come in with the boys. And if you stopped her, she got an attitude. And if you stopped her, we were wrong. Because you're given a choice to choose who you want to be. Yes, ma'am.
There is a video, it's a news story of a woman and a man. The man wanted to be a woman, so now he has taken the steps to become a woman with estrogen and everything. And the woman wanted to be a man. But prior to her becoming a man, she birthed a child, okay? They have a child, and then she became a man. They have this baby, and the man who became a woman was bald-faced crying because he could not nurse the baby. And the person who showed me the video was like, isn't that a form of child abuse? Like, you're never going to get milk from him. He's never going to have those mammary glands to produce the milk. And so they were having this discussion, and then they were like, so we had to order milk to supplement for the baby's lack. No, you're not supplementing. You're feeding the baby. There's nothing to give him if you're a man trying to have, and he was explaining, the baby is latching on, but he's not getting anything.
Duh. And you know what? That's why. And so everything that's been shared is dealing with an example of the world being handed over into the hand of the wicked and how they tell their story. Perspective. So now let me go into the question. There was a question about dogs. Are dogs lawful? Yes, dogs are lawful. There's no law against having a dog. You can have a dog. You can have a Rottweiler, a Pit Bull. You can have a, now I know some may say, but what about these mixed breeds? Well, here's the thing. When it comes to that, you know, now, if I have a pure breed dog, let me ask this question. If I have a pure breed dog, like an American Bulldog, and I mix it with something else, am I going against the law of Yahweh by doing that? By mixing this breed of dog with this breed of dog? Can I do that? Just a yes or no.
I would say no.
Very good. Mixed breeds. No, no. You got an American Bulldog, you want to mate it with another American Bulldog. We put these dogs together, and then we get stuff like, you know, dogs, you know, half poodle, half Rottweiler. Got a big head and a little body. It can't move. It just it can't cause it's got a big old head and a little bit. That's what you hear. Like, man, you must got that poodle roller. Like, you got a poodle roller. Them dogs dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Got big head, little teeth. Now, you can't mix breeds. However, it is okay to have a dog. There's no sin in having a dog. Now, the only time you come into any type of sin is if the dog dies and you got to move his carcass. You don't want to touch the carcass of it because it's not a clean animal. It's not an animal that we can touch. All right. No, it don't have to be mentioned in the dietary law. However, you know, our Asian, I'm sorry. The creators of YouTube. I'll be banned on everything. I couldn't even watch Channel 12. All right. But we do have, but no, there's no sin in having a dog. Very good question. But let's turn to the book of Leviticus chapter 11. Last week, there was a question from Beautiful Dark Skin. I don't know if Beautiful Dark Skin is listening, but Beautiful Dark Skin, shalom, shalom. The question was, Shabbat shalom. I've heard several times that geese are unclean and certain ducks are clean. So can we eat geese and can we eat ducks? So let's turn to the book of Leviticus chapter 11 real quick. But having a dog is not unclean. You can have a dog. All right. Now in the book of Leviticus 11, I'm going to start at the 13th verse. And I did a rundown of all these birds. Okay. Now, let me run this to you. A chicken. A chicken is a mix of two different types of jungle fowl. You have the red-footed and something yellow-beaked or something, and they created what we have today as the domestic chicken. Chicken is clean. You can eat chicken. How chicken is produced, though, is what makes it unclean. You understand? And whatever meat you eat, you got to make sure you drain as much blood out of it as possible, because the Almighty did let us know in the book of Leviticus that we should not eat any blood. Yes, sir.
And also, like, say if you somebody, or say if you have lamb, like the fat, when you're not supposed to eat the fat.
Right.
So what if it's just a little? I know he said don't eat it at all. I mean, don't eat it. But what if it's like something you just can't get off? Don't eat it at all.
Don't eat it. Don't eat it at all. Because the Almighty told us not to eat it. Don't eat it at all. At all. Unless it's a way for you to maybe cut it. You know, it's a way to cut stuff and get fat off. I mean, we ate lamb, but I'm pretty sure there was a way that we cut the fat off. And I think I'm going to research that. Y'all will, I'm going to look at that. How our ancient people used to be able to cut the fat off of meat. The meat that we couldn't eat the fat off of. I'm going to research that. So y'all will, I think I'm going to bring that next week. But in the book of Leviticus chapter 11, starting at the 13th verse, it says, and these are they which ye shall have an abomination among the fowls. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. Something that's abominable is disgusting. It's gross. It's nasty. The Almighty said, I don't want you eating these birds. Okay? And these are birds that actually exist today. There are literally, let me see if I can find it. Yeah. These are birds that exist today. You know there are 51 different species of hawk within the hawk family, and one of the birds that's within the hawk family is buzzard. So in the book of Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 13 it reads, and these are they which ye shall have an abomination, disgust, among the fowls. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle. So we can't eat the American eagle. All right, so black people don't go get your grills and want to go to Minnesota, Wisconsin to go shoot an eagle. Don't do that. All right, we can't eat black. We can't eat the black. We can't eat eagles. No eagles. All right, no eagles. Also, the ostrich.
I'll call it the ostrich.
Ostrich. Yeah, the ostrich. Now the ostrich is basically a bearded vulture. That's what it is. It's a vulture. It inhabits certain parts of Israel. So it's a vulture. It's a bearded vulture. All right. And the osprey. The osprey is also it's a form of hawk. It's an actual, all these birds that's in the scriptures exist today. And the osprey is a vulture. It's a form of vulture. Or I'm sorry, a form of hawk. That's what that is. So we can't have that. Then, of course, we can't have a vulture. Now, a kite. A kite is a specialized bird. A kite. We can't eat kite. It's a light-winged bird, meaning that it's very light. You know, it's not a heavy bird, but we can't eat kite. And then there's a term known as after its kind, meaning that no species of kite can we eat at all. That's what that means. No species of kite. Kite, K-I-T-E. We can't have no species of kite. No raven. No species of raven at all. After it breeds, after its kind, that means what comes after it, the what spawned from that raven. So any bird that comes from the raven or from the kite, we cannot eat. So no raven. Leave that to Edgar Allan Poe. I love that piece. No ravens. The owl. The owl. You can't eat owls. Okay, people, we cannot eat owls. I don't even know why would you want to eat one. We can't eat owls. No owls. No big-eyed owls. No baby owls. No owls at all. No owl eggs. You know what I'm saying? Don't be like I'm screaming, no owl, nothing. Nothing with an owl. O-W-L, owl. You can't have a nighthawk. Once again, a hawk, that's a species of hawk. Now, there's actually a cuckoo bird. This cuckoo bird, you cannot eat. You cannot eat a cuckoo bird. There are many different species of each bird, but you can't eat the cuckoo bird. Okay? You can't have, once again, the hawk. The Almighty reiterates the hawk after its kind, meaning that no form of hawk at all. All right? And in verse 17, it says, and the little owl, no owls. And the cormorant bird, it's actually an actual bird. You can't have that either. That's against the law. Or the great owl. So no owls. No owls. Okay? And the swan. Now, you would think, now swans are a close relative to geese and to ducks. But the only thing the Almighty told us we could not have was swans. What you mean, brother? If the Almighty would have had it where it says swans after its kind, then we couldn't have geese and ducks. But he told us don't eat the swan. So we can't eat swans. Have you ever seen a swan? A white bird, they're beautiful. I mean, they look better alive than barbecue sauce. So no swans. No swans. All right, so when you go climbing trees and you see a swan. Now, let me stop here for a minute. What if one of these birds fly on you? Are you unclean? No. That's right, because they're alive. Unless you kill it. Like, get off of me. Oh, dang, gone, I'm unclean. That's, you know what I'm saying? You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can be like, shoot, get off of me. You know, if a buzzard's around you, that's kind of scary. Or a vulture. Yeah. That means life is fleeting. Yeah, that means life is fleeting. But these are animals the Almighty told us to look at as an abomination as far as a food source. Okay? If you go to the zoo and they're like, you want to pet the hawk? You know, if it lets you. If it lets you. But if the hawk is dead, then of course you'd be like, nah, I can't do that because that's an abomination. Okay? So the great owl. Now, the swan, of course, the swan. Pelican. We all know what those pelicans are, right? Them seabirds. We have all seen Finding Nemo. Them birds. But in real life, they swoop down, grab whatever they're gonna eat.
Like missiles in the sky,
yeah, they go, and they come right back up, and they have fish in their mouth. Talk about eyesight and preciseness. But we cannot eat pelicans, and we cannot eat the gear eagle. The gear eagle is just another species of eagle. Okay. The stork. The stork is that big bird with the long neck and the long beak. And they also eat fish. And they can their beaks can hold, that pouch right there holds a lot of water.
That's where they bring the babies.
And that's where they bring the babies. Thank you, sweetie. I did not know that. And that's where they bring the babies. No. So when a woman gets pregnant, it's not through you, it's the stork.
Oh.
Look at my man. He's like, really? Really? So me and my wife just have fun all over the place. No, I'm kidding with you. I'm kidding with you. So you're saying, no. It was a joke. Oh. They don't literally bring you, sir, are adorable. No, I love you. You adorable. You was about to break it down like, oh, my mama lied to me.
I'm so sorry.
Oh man, I knew baby came from. No, but no.
No, I was about to say, like, wait, storage born babies out of baby.
No, that was just no. Oh, no. No, you're okay, but you know what, honey, you had me though. It took me a minute to formulate. Wait a minute, you're talking about baby babies. No, but you can't have a stork. No storks. Now, a heron. A heron is a form of bird. No species of heron can you have. None. And these are. Huh? Oh man. But you know what I saw? A lot of these birds on here, the way they move and the way they function is deep. The way they get food, the way that I'm telling you, patience. Like if you want to learn patience, I look at some of these birds, especially the eagle. The eagle is one of the most fascinating birds. Why? Because it has a long wingspan. It's a huge bird, but it also can fly depths that most birds cannot fly. Eagles can fly up there where they can fly. That's why if you ever use an analogy and say, don't try to soar with regular birds, soar with the eagles, because they go high. And their vision, they can see food from miles away. And when they got their eyes stuck on it, they get it. Talismans get. They're strong enough to take a human baby. Let me just say that. That's how strong them eagles are. Most of these birds are.
Baby cow
Yeah, yeah. Pick them up.
and fly off with it.
And you'll be looking like, that must be that eagle with that cow. The cow, and we looking at it like, you know, that's a fascinating thing if you think about it. So no eagles, no heron. Lapwing. A lapwing is also a form of bird. They're small birds. So we can't eat lapwings. And the last bird that we cannot eat, or the last winged fowl we cannot eat, is a bat. No bats. So when you go to no bats, okay, no bats, no bats, no bats at all. So those are the animals. So to answer the question, can we eat duck and geese? Yes. Geese is the plural form for goose. So yes, we can eat those things. Those things were not, we were not to abstain from ducks and geese. Are there any questions or anyone that see it differently? Because when I studied this here, I looked at these birds, and these birds are something else.
So does that mean you can eat a flamingo?
Can't eat flamingos because it's not part of the dietary law.
I mean, not that I would want to. I think
Right.
they're beautiful, but
Right. Can't eat flamingos, but we can eat ducks and we can eat geese. And we can eat chicken. I know when, oh man, did y'all feel the earth shake when I was about to talk about chicken? Could you feel the number of blacks? No, no, no.
generations.
Gener-
In their grave.
no,
You better not say.
he is blasphemous. He is blasphemous. Richie's was upset. Go ahead.
So, okay, we can't eat these birds, but how do we know if a bird is unclean?
I just
No.
Like
read
that
them all.
study.
Yeah,
Sir, you gotta learn about stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you can identify y'all's creation when you see it somewhere.
See, I don't have pictures. Maybe that's what I should do, is get pictures, and then that way you can say, oh, that's what it would look like. But that's what you got your portable computer for. Just type in all the birds that's here that's listed, because they actually do exist.
They'll show a picture.
These are not right. These are not biblical names. These birds actually exist. Any questions or comments? Is it? So we can have those ducks and geese and chicken. Boy, you ought to heard him say that about chickens. But let me say this about flamingos. Let me study flamingos. I didn't look up flamingos, but let me study flamingos. I don't know why, because to eat a flamingo, because flamingos are herbivores. They're carnivores.
They eat shrimp. That's how they get their color.
Yeah, they eat shrimp and they eat other. Yeah, they eat other animals too. So, yeah. So let me study up on flamingos. But as far as ducks and geese, yes, we can have those, and chicken. They're not part of the restriction of the dietary law. Yes, ma'am.
May you add another bird to your list?
Sure. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and write that down now. Study flamingos.
So never mind.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good.
No problem. All right. Okay. So yes, we can have ducks and geese. And yes, black man and black woman, you can have your chicken. If that's what you eat. And turkey. Turkey is fine too. You can eat turkey. I did research on turkeys. Turkeys are natural herbivores. They eat berries and for fruit. You would, I guess, consider them fruitarians. They eat fruits and vegetables. Now, of course, if they're forced by hand, like most of our creatures are, when placed in certain manufacturing environments, don't know what they're eating. But the natural diet of a turkey is berries, fruit, things of that nature. Now, chickens are carnivores. Chickens eat meat. So whatever meat they catch is what they eat. Chickens are carnivores. But turkeys they eat berries and fruits. So turkeys are okay. Chicken is clean because that's not on here. Turkey, chicken, ducks, geese. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Pigeons are clean.
Yes, pigeons are clean as well.
Right, I want to eat the ones downtown.
Sure don't.
They
Sure
chicken
don't.
wings.
Sure don't. You know them hawks years ago, they had brought into Cincinnati to eat the pigeons. You still see them every once in a while, depending on where you are in the city. You will see a big bird, this big hawk. They still got them. They were to eat the pigeons are. But yes, to eat pigeons. I don't want you going downtown hunting pigeons though, because I see it in your eyes. Like
He
you
gonna make a bow and arrow glow up in the tree.
You gonna be in this
Gonna
room
be
like
pigeons.
this. What the Michael said. I ain't trying to be watching you. I gotta come and get you. Got to get you out. You know, be on the news. Today's news: a young Hughes student was in the trees and somebody recording you going. Dang.
Really with a blow dart.
Yeah, we don't want that, son. We don't want that, okay? But those are clean as well. Anyone see anything different? But it's got to match scripture. Yes, ma'am. You see something different?
No, I don't see anything different.
Okay.
Would you like me to tell you something about the building?
Sure. Yes. I take all wisdom. Yes, my wife is going to break down something about my wife is so adorable. She has the actions of a preschooler sometimes. I'm saying it because of her adorableness. She got these big, beautiful eyes, and she'd be like, "Can I add something?" I'm like,
It's changing, sir.
It says
I ain't scared her.
the Talmud was compiled when Judea was occupied by the Roman legions. According to Rabbi Y.M. Levenger, based on research by Rabbis Borenstein and Livingston, the flamingo was considered a food of Judea and is identified in the Talmud, Chelon 63, as a kosher bird.
Thank you, babe. So I'm still gonna search it.
Yeah. of
No.
course.
Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm glad you said that. Because a lot of food that's kosherfied is kosherfied not necessarily by the scriptures. It's by because in Judaism, the rabbi is God. The rabbi is God in Judaism. The rabbi is his word basically stands. You understand?
They own little court and everything.
Yes, they do. The Talmud is nothing but rabbinical commentary. They use Hebrew or study from Torah for ceremonial purposes. But the Jewish man has nothing to do with Israel other than stealing identity that we basically gave them. We kind of went to the enemy and said, here's my gun, here's some ammunition. Boom. We did that when we turned our backs on Yahweh. All right. Any comments on there? Any questions or anything else? All right. So yes, it's clean to have dogs. And yes, we can have the chickens, we can have the geese, and I'm studying on flamingos, and we can eat duck. We just can't mess with his cousin, the swan. Okay? You gotta kind of be careful how you tell Israel they be eating partridge. You're like, we ain't gotta bring no meat. Bring the grill. Set up down there by the pond. Feeding them bread. Come here, y'all. So, but yeah, those are things. So I hope I answered my sister's question. Praise Yah. Okay, we got a little time. I want to share something that I have been meditating on. Oh, Solomon. A while ago, I had stated that Solomon, the name King Lemuel, was actually a name given to Solomon. I did some research. Nowhere do they know who Lemuel is. It alludes to Solomon because it's a proverb, because it's in Proverbs. It alludes to being Solomon, but there's no hardcore evidence to show. So I wanted to make sure that I stood corrected, and I corrected myself. That no, King Lemuel, he could have been an Arabian king. But according to Jewish folklore, from their so-called scholars, it's talking about Solomon, but there's no real evidence. But I will tell you what Solomon's other name was. Turn to the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 12. Second Samuel chapter 12. Son, would you mind reading for me, please? In the book of 2 Samuel chapter 12, will you start at verse 24, please? Thank you, sir.
And David comforted Bathsheba, his wife, and went in unto her, and lay with her, and she bare a son, and he called his name Solomon. And the Almighty loved him.
The Almighty loved Solomon, loved him. And this is 2 Samuel chapter 12 and verse 24. Now in verse 25 is going to reveal Solomon's second name.
And he sent by the hand of Nathan,
Mm-hmm.
the prophet, and he called his name
Jedediah.
Mm-hmm. Because of the Almighty.
Jedediah means beloved of Yah. So Solomon also went by the name Jedediah as well, because Yahweh loved him. So Yahweh gave him that second name of Jedediah, sent by the word of the prophet Nathan. Now, as far as Lemuel, that could just take more study, but I haven't came across anything substantial or meaty enough for me to say that his name is also Lemuel. But I can say that Solomon's name is he's also Jedediah as well. Okay, any questions, comments about that? Okay. All right, now, something that I definitely want to share. And this is for our men. No shade at the woman at all. But however, if you are a man and you are not the head of your household, but the woman is, you are no more than just being her child. You're just part of the children. A man's position is to be head of his household. I'm not saying that to be misogynistic. I'm saying it because that's where the position Yah placed us in. We are the heads of households. Why that's so important is because we, if nobody else, we really have to build a relationship with Yahweh, because our households have got to be ran with Yahweh at the helm. Okay, brothers, those that may be listening. So, it's very important for a man's only to depend on Yahweh. What do you mean, brother? Because when you a man, and I'm learning this, when you a man and you always got your hand out, can you really call yourself a man? In the sense of, not in the sense of your sexuality, but can you call yourself a man if you living off of your friends, living off of your woman, living off of your parents? You definitely are not a man if you don't serve Yahweh. Your physical prowess, your money don't make you a man. Having a big house don't make you a man. Having a fancy car don't make you a man. What makes you a man is how you can walk and stand strong with Yahweh. And another thing too that makes us men as well is don't always put all your problems off on your wife. A man can handle his own. Now, I ain't saying don't talk to your wife, but don't just go and just complain about everything in life. Excuse me. Don't just go around being a victim all the time and you a man. There's nothing masculine about that. If you're having problems in your house with that position, look at yourself in the mirror and say, what am I doing wrong if there's no peace in my home? Because I'm going to tell you, it's natural for a woman to want to be led by a man. And like I said, I'm not saying that to be mean, but it's just the truth. It's natural. Sisters, please correct me if I'm wrong, but there's nothing like being able to be feminine, to be comfortable in the fact that you trust your man, to be comfortable in the fact that you know that if anything goes down, your man got you. In our homes as men, we are to be teachers. We are to be providers, protectors. The ladder for how it should be established: Yahweh, the husband, the wife, and then the children. That's perfect order. But also, too, in being a man, we have to have control of our spirits. And we also, let me say this, there's nothing wrong with you telling your wife how beautiful she is every day. Do it every day. Text her, I was thinking about you today. I love you. Now, I ain't saying be, obsessive, But what I am saying is let her know how important she is to you. Don't be that man that says all the time, because I know I've done it, what I do. This is what I do. And I wouldn't be able to do nothing if it wasn't for Yahweh. So it's growing into being a man. Walk with YAH. You want to be a husband one day? I'm hoping you do. Strengthen your relationship with Yahweh. Because any woman that don't accept Yahweh should not accept you. Sisters, men who don't accept Yahweh should not even be allowed in your presence, in the sense of wanting to be in a relationship with you. Because you want to go where your father is accepted. Whether they believe in him right now or not. Where I go, my father go. Just like a woman, when she got children, what do they say? Where I go, they go. You got to have the same mindset with the Creator. You understand? So as men, we have a very, 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 very hard role in a sense. Because we got to wear a lot of hats. But I'm going to tell you, being a husband and being a wife is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Because anybody can be a girlfriend and a boyfriend. But it takes strength to call yourself a husband and to call yourself a wife. What I'm learning in relationships is that in order to have a functioning relationship, you have to have a healthy masculinity as a man. If you are a man who feel like a woman can't tell you nothing, you want some weird stuff. There's nothing wrong with a man. There's nothing wrong with your wife saying to you, I have an idea. It don't take away from your masculinity. If a man is that afraid of losing his masculinity, maybe he should just, I don't know what he should do. But nobody can take your masculinity away if you're a man, if you're a real man. Because a real man is going to put Yah first. And Yah teaches us to be humble. Yah wants us to be meek. He wants us to use wisdom and discretion in every step that we make. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, babe.
No, you're fine. I enjoyed what you were saying. When it comes to relationships, I think one of the things that we fall back on is love. And I'm not saying you shouldn't love your mate. That's not what I'm saying. I just think that we speak different love languages, and it takes wisdom to decipher that, because love is not always emotion. Because sometimes someone might spell love as affection, and men might spell love as respect. And when you get the wisdom to know that love is not just that emotion, that heartfelt emotion, that it takes other components, that you will be able to operate a little better. You might love your car, but it takes wisdom to know that it's going to take gas to make it run. So I think that's the same in a relationship. When you love your mate, it's not just that emotion, it plays other factors.
Yeah, because if you just marry for love, then you're going to fail. You're going to fail if you marry for love. Some may say, what do you mean? Because marriage is almost like marriage is something that has to be established on things such as trust, such as being able to cohabitate together and figure out how to work out arguments and things of that nature. If you marry for just love, you can have love in there, but that's not enough to hold a marriage together.
I don't see,
You know.
and I could be wrong, but I don't see in the scripture, I could be wrong, where love was equated to marriage.
I agree with you. Marriage was sort of like it was about building and yeah.
Understanding and
I agree with you, because marriage was sort of like, I'm building. If I marry this woman, it's to build me up a seed, to build a seed up, and that's why I'm marrying this woman, like you said, to basically to carry on a man's name.
It's
But
not
love,
right.
but however, love was there.
Yes.
It just wasn't it wasn't the first thing. Well, I might say that because Jacob saw Rachel and fell in love, and he hadn't did nothing with her. So love does play a role, but love can't be the only thing that holds a marriage together. If that's all you got, because love is very fragile. Love is very fragile. It's very soft. And it's sort of, if you don't handle love correctly, I'm assuming, things can shatter.
Because it was foundational. His love for Rachel had to also play a part and build on his work for him to work for her. So he had to understand the hierarchy of what her father wanted before he could have her. There's,
Right.
you
Right.
know, I think there's just other components besides love we need to understand for our mates. And, you know, and sometimes men need a little more respect than they feel they're getting, and women need a little more affection and understanding than they think they're getting. And I think that all plays a part in love. It's not just love, it plays a big part in it.
Yeah, and I think that when you look at the word love, love is a word that don't mean what we present it to be. Love is I have a great admiration for. And I have a great admiration for who I'm with. I admire you. I admire you. Love don't mean I'm all up under you 24/7. It don't mean that I can't let you breathe sometimes. You know, you go to the bathroom, I'm going to. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We eating off the same plate, like all the time. Love is something that it's something that I don't think we really know, because I think we so used to having superficial love and so used to being, I don't know. I think it's something that we're just so used to having. We don't know what real love is, because I think if we knew what real love is, we wouldn't have a problem straightening up for Yahweh. Yahweh shows us real love. He's a great example of that. When you study him, that's real love. That's real love. You understand? So as far as when it comes to and I'm glad you brought that factor into it, sweetie, with love. I'm glad you brought that factor into it, because a lot of us feel like I'm only gonna hold on due to I only want to marry this person because I'm in love with him. But even though Jacob loved Rachel, he saw her do something. She presented something. She wanted to sit down, chilling. You know what I'm saying? And it was pretty. She was working. She was doing something. And I don't know. I just think that, well, what I do know for a fact is that when it comes to marriage and relationships, Yahweh has got to be at the forefront. Where there is no Yahweh, you're going to fail. And some may say, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. What about that couple over there who's been married for 50 years and they Christians? Well, here's the thing. Yahweh controls everything. Even them Christians over there. Maybe it was something that he put in there. It was something he put in their marriage that made it work. But what about these Hebrew Israelites who are only married for 2 years and now they're divorcing? Well, once again, Yahweh is in control. That's why it's important to have him there first and foremost. Yes, sir, Elder. And then I'm gonna read something out of the Apocrypha.
I couldn't hear you well outside there earlier. Then we close because of this noise out there.
Yeah.
But some of the key factors that I'm quite certain of, and think of what I'm saying on both parties, you must have admiration, appreciation, cooperation, and a mutual respect.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I had to have, say, when you talk about love, we know what love is. But if I had to have love or respect in the marriage, you can only have one. Like you asked Gordon, you only have one. I'd rather have the respect. So, admiration, appreciation, cooperation, and respect. Now, if I said anything wrong, I stand corrected. I think those are fundamentals that have to be there along with communication. Along with communication. Those are factors that must be there. Because any one of those things that are not there on any part can have you have a collapse.
Yeah, and I don't think that the answers that were given were right or wrong answers. Because in order, no. What I'm saying is, I think in order to build a house, it takes many bricks.
Right.
You understand?
Absolutely.
A house can't be built on just one brick. And I think that the beautiful wisdom that you just shared, that's what my wife just shared. I think that you can take that and you can build off of that. Because there's so many, and when it comes to wisdom, the one thing that hurts us the most is we fight over who's the wisest as opposed to taking in wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Instead of listening. Because most of us, if we really were honest with ourselves, most of us don't listen to grow. We listen to respond. And that's what's so jacked up sometimes. To where it's like, hey, just shut up. Excuse me, listen. Get wisdom. Get wisdom. So real quick, I'm going to read in the book of, you read out of it, the Wisdom of Solomon. I'm going to the first chapter. But if I had to choose something to love, I would much rather love righteousness. Does that take away from me loving my wife? No. Me loving righteousness would actually enhance our marriage because I'm gonna treat her right, not be deceitful to her, because I love righteousness. The very first verse of the Wisdom of Solomon, the first section, it says, "Love righteousness, you rulers of the earth. Think of Yahweh in goodness, and seek him with sincerity of heart. He is found by those who do not put him to the test, and manifests himself to those who do not distrust him. For perverse thoughts separate people from Elohim. And when the power is tested, it exposes the foolish." When we try the Almighty, when we do opposite of what he tells us to do, Yahweh tells us to go left, we like, but it looks so much fun over here on the right. So I'm going to go over here. In the book of, Ecclesiastes 8 and 11, talks about because a judgment is not executed speedily, it's set in the hearts of men to do evil. Just because we don't get punished today for the wrong we do, don't mean that things ain't gonna add up. And then it says, because wisdom will not enter a deceitful soul, or dwell in a body enslaved to sin, for a holy and disciplined spirit will flee from deceit. It takes discipline to flee from bullcrap. It takes discipline. We are a people. I'm gonna tell you, some of us love drama. We love it. That's why most of us like to watch some of these shows that have a lot of drama in it sometimes. But if you know how much strength it takes for somebody to be like, "Hey, Don, let me tell you, did you hear about such and such? Man, I heard his wife, oh, well, I'm good. I don't need to hear nothing. I thought you were going to tell me you was hurt or something. I'm good." It takes strength to do that. It takes strength to say, "Hey, Sydney, hey, man, did you hear about that brother? Oh, man, let me tell you about him. He laid up in the house. Oh, I don't need to hear that. I'm good. It takes strength to do that.
You do that well.
Who?
You do.
Me?
You do that very well.
Well, thank you, sweetie.
I mean,
You such a
you
sugar
do
plum.
not like talebearing. I can honestly say that about you. If someone comes to you, your hand is up. So
Praise
God.
Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. And I want to read one more thing, which I think stands out to me, and this was just powerful. In Sirach, the book of Sirach.
Yeah.
Love you, man. Be blessed. In the book of Sirach.
Oh, you have a great week.
You too. Love you, man. Be blessed. Y'all blessed. In the book of Sirach, the 3rd division, it reads in the 18th verse, the greater you are, the more you must humble yourself. The greater you are, the more you must humble yourself. So you will find favor in the sight of Yahweh. For great is the might of Yah, but by the humble he is glorified. Hallelujah. And there's one more verse that I wanted to read real quick that I thought was just profound. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, let's go back to the Wisdom of Solomon, the 1st division. And I want to start reading now. I want to read at the 16th verse. It says, but the Elohim, by their words and deeds, summon death, considering him a friend. They pined away, and made a covenant with him because they are fit to belong to his company. Everything that we do, we have to make sure that if I take this step, is this causing me to be better acquainted with death? Or is it going to make me become better acquainted with life? Real simple. I don't think that was too deep. And I want to read this poem, and then we out the door, guys. Praise Yah. Praise Yah. I watched the beauty of Yah breathe. No, I watched the beauty of Yah's breath cause the trees to dance. As the grass applauds to their movement, hope is restored through every color of his creation. It is beautiful. The clouds were made for his throne to rest upon. The sounds of nature prophesy to his greatness. Praise Yah. Thank you for tuning in with us. Appreciate you for doing that. Let us rise and pray out. Shema, Israel, Yah, Eloheinu, Yah, Akkad. Hero Israel, Yah Elohim, Yah is one. Glory belongs to you, Yah. Thank you for a beautiful Sabbath class, Yahweh. Thank you for the wonderful teachings. Thank you for the wisdom and the praise. Yahweh, please continue to keep us and bless us. Please continue to allow your face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. Yah, please keep your countenance lifted up upon us and give us peace. Hallelujah. 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 Praise the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous. Yah is holy. And may Yahweh be magnified. Amen. All right, we're going to end today's Sabbath services, just Yah willing for today. like I said, if you have any comments or questions, if there's anything that I didn't get a chance to get to, still submit your questions. If you want to, because I may have, start up doing Bible study. And during that Bible study is where you can come in or you can talk and we can, so I'll see about looking to set that up so that it's something that I can do. And we'll have Bible study and discuss scriptures. You want to talk about the Quran, you want to talk about the New Testament, you want to talk about the Talmud. I'm not as educated as my elder Ezekiel was with that Talmud, but we can still have a discussion about it. But until then, thank you. Praise Yahweh. We love you. Yah loves you, and so do we. Bless Yahweh. Amen.